This is Company Saturdays. Every Saturday we present you with another company. Today we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about electronic arts. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, thanks for joining us in what will be a fact-filled video about 15 things you didn't know about electronic arts. It's full of controversy and innovation. Electronic arts can lay claim to Silicon Valley as one of its founding fathers and, to this day, one of its greatest giants. The company has been at the cutting edge of the gaming industry for over 3 decades now and continues to pull in huge fan bases year after year. Its unique licensing deals with franchises like the English Premier League and the NFL has made EA Sports a developer of realistic sports games that barely have any competition on the global scale. Furthermore, its aggressive market strategy of acquiring potential competitors whilst still in their beginning periods has allowed it to diversify and control huge swaths of consumer territory. The landscape of today's gaming community has been, is currently, and will be hugely influenced by electronic arts in every respect. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. So, without further ado, let's learn some more about this digital superpower with the 15 things you didn't know about electronic arts. Number 1. Electronic Arts was founded by an ex-employee of Apple. Trip Hawkins, the founder of EA, started working for Apple back in 1978 when it had only 50 employees. In 1982, Trip Hawkins decided to leave his post as Director of Product Management and start his own company that would focus on producing interactive third-party software for all the new consoles that were beginning to appear on the consumer market. He started with an initial investment of $200,000 out of his own pocket and used some spare office space at Sequoia Capital's headquarters in California. Number 2. Hawkins had originally wanted to call the company Amazin Software. Tripp's name for the company on the original business plan was Amazin Software. After submitting the business plan to his new team of senior executives, they debated for a long time on what the name should be. No one really liked the name Amazin Software, and ideas started to be bounced around. Everyone was in agreement that the software development was a new type of art form. One idea was soft art, but it was too similar to a competitor called software arts. In the end, the decision came down to electronic arts or electronic artists. The decision was swayed towards electronic arts when one of the directors pointed out they were in fact not the artists. It was actually the developers themselves that made the art. They just published it. Number 3. EA's early games were packaged like music albums. EA's 1983 releases, Mule and Pinball Construction Set, were packaged like album covers. EA was one of the first gaming and graphic design companies to promote its developers as artists and even rock star-like figures. They were given photo credits on most games and even appeared in magazine ads. They also shared large portions of the profits with their developers and promoted them to senior positions, whilst other companies were still using them as low-level minions. Number 4. EA won Best Software Publisher of the Year in 1995. Electronic Arts won the Best Software Publisher of the Year award at the 1995 European Computer Trade Show. This was the company's first international recognition of their huge success. At this time, they began to diversify with sports games like FIFA and NFL on consoles like the Super Nintendo and Mega Drive. The up-and-coming gaming industry was about to explode into one of the most profitable markets on the planet, which would redefine the whole concept of entertainment. Electronic arts were ready to capitalize at the forefront. It was during this period that EA purchased land at Redwood Shores, California, and began construction on their headquarters they still operate from today. Number 5. EA's total equity was valued at $4.6 billion in 2018. EA's total equity was around $4.6 billion as of October 2018. Most of their current revenue comes from digital purchases, such as new game titles, downloadable content, and microtransactions. The total assets of the company is valued upwards of $8.6 billion, with an operating income of just over $1.4 billion and a net income of over $1 billion. The company has continued to diversify and aggressively acquire smaller software developing companies in order to hold a lion's share of the gaming industry market. The only other company with higher revenues is Activision. Number 6. EA announced huge losses in 2009. In the last quarter of 2009, EA announced losses of $641 million. This was largely attributed to the 2008 economic crisis, but critics have also pointed to the fact that the company had begun to bore its customers with a lack of diversification. Most of their titles were series like FIFA, NHL, NFL, and Tiger Woods PGA. The problem with this was that the games hardly changed each year. Rosters were updated and there were slight tweaks in gameplay, but the general public were crying out for new titles and styles of interaction. But as a result, EA had to lay off about 11% of its workforce at the time. Number 7. EA organized a fake protest to promote one of its games. EA organized over 200 actors to pretend they were protesting the release of a new game called Dante's Inferno. The game was released in 2009 at the Electronic Entertainment Expo. Actors were instructed to hold up placards and protest as if they were Christian demonstrators, signaling their displeasure at how the game depicted hell and the damnation of souls. This stunt, however, caused an almighty backlash by those who took offense at EA's perpetration of negative stereotypes about how Christians were vocally against so many different aspects of popular culture. Number 8. EA became the first corporation to win Worst Company in America 2 years in a row. In 2012 and 2013, EA won the Consumerist Award for the Worst Company in America. The competition is held every year, and thousands of people will vote for various companies based on factors such as their ethical principles and treatment of customers. Even The Consumerist was astounded at how a gaming company could beat tobacco, alcohol, firearms, and oil companies 2 years in a row. In the 2012 final vote, EA were up against the Bank of America, which had been responsible for thousands of faulty foreclosures on loans that same year. Somehow they managed to win with over 64% of the vote. Number 9. The wife of an Electronic Arts employee started the EA Spouse blog. Aaron Hoffman is married to an influential developer working for EA and became dismayed at how many hours he was having to put in, so she started the EA Spouse blog. The blog began in 2004 and highlighted the fact that several EA employees were working well over 100-hour weeks without being paid overtime. Compulsory office hours were described as being as much as 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, with the occasional afternoon off on Saturdays for good behavior. The blog led to class action lawsuits where EA was ordered to pay nearly $15 million to its employees in unpaid overtime. All of a sudden the title of America's Worst Business starts to make more sense. Number 10. EA has 18 highly popular series titles. EA has 18 very popular gaming franchises that include Medal of Honor, Need for Speed, The Sims, Star Wars, Plants vs. Zombies, Dead Space, Command & Conquer, and Battlefield. Some of their titles stretch back to the early 1990s. The reason that EA is the second largest corporation developing computer games is because year after year, they're able to attract repeat customers who are hooked on their franchises. People can say what they want about the lack of innovation in game titles, but when their existing series continue to bring in customers with every new release, then there's little need to risk the change. The approach of EA as well as its fan base is very different to one of its closest competitors, Ubisoft. We've covered all you need to know about them too. Click in the top right corner to watch 15 things you didn't know about Ubisoft. Number 11. EA is working hard on developing competitive gaming. EA is currently pushing competitive gaming to the foreground. They believe that there is huge potential for expansion into the world of spectator gaming. In countries such as South Korea, there have been whole stadiums built for people to watch professional gamers compete frantically. Now EA has signed deals with MLS and the NFL to try and convert this into a broadcasting potential. They believe that millions will want to tune in to watch the very best gamers compete against each other for prizes that may end up being more coveted than actual sporting events. Number 12. EA donated $1 million to Jacksonville victims in August 2018. EA donated $1 million to help support the victims and families that were affected by the Jacksonville shootings, which took place Sunday, August 26, 2018. Violence erupted at an event for competitive gamers who were trying to qualify for the 2019 Madden Classic. The two individuals that were killed were professional gamers. One had won the Madden Classic in 2017, whilst the other was an ex-high school player that had amassed over $50,000 in winnings from gaming. EA sent its heartfelt condolences to all those affected and pledged $1 million. Number 13. One of EA's comments became the most hated thing on Reddit. In 2017, EA responded to a complaint by a gamer, which was given a thumbs down by over 670,000 users. The gamer had complained about how expensive it was to unlock all the characters on Star Wars Battlefront 2 due to the system of loot boxes. EA responded by saying they wanted to influence a sense of pride and accomplishment in players. Until the point of this video production's comment, nothing on Reddit had been disliked as much, and perhaps never will be again. Since then, the system of loot boxes has been heavily criticized, and some have even suggested it's a form of gambling which needs to be regulated. Belgium actually adjusted loot boxes to be an illegal form of gambling back in March 2018 and ordered EA to remove them from games. However, EA did nothing and are now the subject of a criminal investigation by the country's government. Number 14. EA was criticized for having a bisexual character in one of its games. One of the main characters in Dragon Age 2 was a bisexual, and some scenes depicted homosexual romance, which was met with some backlash from certain gamers. Some of the senior developers for the game were sent hate mail after the release, and many straight male gamers were disgusted. However, one of the lead writers, David Gator, no pun intended, responded by saying that someone who's pleased by restricting the freedoms of others is the last person who deserves any freedoms themselves. EA was also given a perfect score in 2014 by a human rights campaign as a workplace for people that associate themselves as LGBTQ. Number 15. EA represents 30 years of intense change for the entertainment industry. Since its founding back in 1986, EA has been at the forefront of a world that has been rapidly changing in the ways that people entertain themselves and interact with the world around them. It's interesting to consider that at the point of its inception, the company was influenced by the idea of a new age for art. Many of its initial publishings focused on the way that digital technology could help people to create incredible things with graphic design. Today, their company is steeped in controversy because they seem to be more interested in squeezing every possible cent out of their customers. EA's image as a money-grubbing evil empire has tarnished its reputation, but did not prevent it from announcing record sales for the last 5 years in a row. Well, Aluxers, there you have it. 15 poignant facts about one of the largest gaming companies in the world. And now a question for you. What's your all-time favorite EA game and why? Let us know in the comments. And as always, for sticking with us all the way to the end, what does that mean? Of course, you get a bonus. Here it is. Number 16. The Sims was one of the most addictive games in history. For many, The Sims was the first video game they ever got involved with. Really, it began the revolution of casual gamers. Girls, in particular, began playing a lot more computer games because, unlike most other games at the time, it didn't focus on competition or high-intensity commands. In fact, one girl was treated for game addiction in 2002 because she was reported to be playing over 18 hours of The Sims every day for 3 months. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.